The 2021 NBA draft is fast approaching, and I wanted to quickly speak my thoughts on how I think the draft is going to go, and in turn where some of these prospects are going to ultimately end up. Now, as with every draft, we don't know what kind of trades are going to happen on the night. Bradley Beal to the Warriors has been something in the rumor mill, but you never know what's actually going to happen. Ben Simmons, DeAndre Jordan, and Buddy Hield have also been mentioned in trade talks, so it could be one of the more aggressive drafts in recent history. Because of this, I'm going to try and make these picks without facilitating any trades, so the picks will be made according to the players' fits on the teams right now. That being said, there is one trade that has already been confirmed, so I'm going to reflect that as well. The Memphis Grizzlies will be picking at the 10th pick instead of the Pelicans. That being said, let's get straight into it. With the first pick in the NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Cade Cunningham. I mean, is this really a surprise? I believe that Cade is probably the consensus best player in the draft, and we've heard the Detroit Pistons aren't willing to pass up on him. Apparently, Thunder's number 6 pick and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who actually has a similar game to Cade, mind you, isn't enough to steal the pick away from them. While the Pistons already have an up-and-coming young guard in Killian Hayes, the versatility of Cade Cunningham is probably too good to pass up, and I'm sure they'll find a way to make it work. We've seen him be the best player on his Oklahoma State Cowboys team, averaging 20.1 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. There's no doubt that he'll be able to translate that play into the NBA level with his amazing feel for the game. With the second pick in the NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Jalen Green. While I think Evan Mobley is going to be the best player available here, the Rockets go ahead and pick up Jalen Green instead, who's actually coming off of a season with the G League Ignite squad after skipping out on college. He's arguably the most talented scorer in the draft, being able to score on all three levels, and he averaged 17.9 points per game in the NBA's G League, which shows that he should be ready to make a jump to the elite level. With the third pick in the NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Evan Mobley. While the fit might not be 100% here with Jarrett Allen seemingly being the Cavs center of the future, Evan Mobley is one of the more talented big men to come up in the draft. He's 7 foot, but there are questions about his frame and whether he's ready to play against elite NBA centers since he only comes in weighing 215 pounds. However, his potential is sky high in a league looking for versatile centers who can spread the floor out to the perimeter, and his defensive upside continues to trend upwards. We could actually see the Cavs look to move Colin Sexton at some point on draft night, but that depends if anyone's willing to take him on. With the fourth pick in the NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Jalen Suggs. Now, after the top 3 picks is where the draft starts to become a little unpredictable. The Raptors haven't really given any insight into where they want to go, and a lot of that depends on their upcoming free agency, with their star guard Kyle Lowry hitting the market. Now, the Raptors do already have a few talented wing defenders in OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, which could sway them away from picking a defensive stud like Scotty Barnes. At the end of the day, I think that the defensive upside and rising stock of Jalen Suggs is most likely going to be the best fit for Toronto and what they're trying to build. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select Scotty Barnes. Scotty is one of the highest quality defenders available at the draft and possesses some unique playmaking skills to go along with that as well. His scoring potential is something that might need a lot of work, as his nearest player comparison is something like what Draymond Green brings to the table. However, the Magic get an NBA-ready defensive stud here to continue building around their incredibly young core of Jonathan Isaac, Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba, and Markelle Fultz. Because of this pick, expect the Magic to select one of the more talented scorers with their 8th pick in the draft. With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Jonathan Kuminga. In all honesty, I don't know where Kuminga is ultimately going to end up. Some mock drafts have him falling out of the top 10 altogether, but I think he has too much upside on a young team that's trying to find its own identity in the Thunder. Since they still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, and their new veteran acquisition in Kemba Walker, I can't see them really passing up on a talented wing with elite upside due to his athletic skill. He's probably one of the rawer prospects available at this position and will likely need a lot of grooming for him to excel as an NBA player. Nevertheless, the Thunder have a lot of time to develop him, given that they have 38 draft picks to deal with over the next 7 years. With the 7th pick in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Josh Giddey. The Warriors having 2 picks in the lottery at 7 and 14 give a lot of uncertainty with whether they'll keep their pick or ultimately trade it. If they have a pick up for grabs, I think they'll ultimately end up with going for someone like Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey makes a lot of sense for a Golden State Warriors team who will be reintroducing Klay Thompson and presumably making a championship run in the 2021 to 2022 NBA season. While Giddey has some question marks around his shooting and defensive ability, his feel for the game and strong playmaking ability make him a perfect fit for the team like the Warriors, who love focusing on ball movement. His pro experience with the Adelaide 36ers in Australia makes him a prime candidate to transition into the NBA, and adding a ball handler and competent playmaker to make space for the elite shooters in Curry and Klay is a no-brainer. With the 8th pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic select James Bucknight. There has been a report from Jonathan Wasserman that the Magic are heavily considering picking Zaire Williams at the 8th spot after having him in for 2 different workouts. However, passing up on the scoring guard in James Bucknight, who falls down to the 8th pick, may actually be the perfect match for the Orlando Magic. As a team trying to find their identity after initiating a full rebuild by trading Nikola Vucevic, Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier last year, the Magic still need young talent to build around, and a creative inside scorer with an upwards trending jump shot makes him a great fit for this team. With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Alperen Sengun. Apparently, a lot of teams are knocking on the door of Sacramento looking to move up to this pick. However, if the Kings keep it, I think they'll go with the big man in Sengun. He's coming off of an MVP season in the Turkish League, and it makes sense around a young core of De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. We might obviously see Buddy Hield get traded in this draft, but adding an insanely talented center in Sengun makes a lot of sense considering Marvin Bagley hasn't really worked out. He's got legitimate potential as a shooter, where he ended up shooting 80% at the line despite a bit of streaky 3-point shooting, and probably his most understated quality, his passing and playmaking, makes him sound like he could be the next Nikola Jokic. Let's hope the Kings don't mess this one up. With the 10th pick in the NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Moses Moody. Now, I know that the Grizzlies trading down sparked a lot of interest between them and Josh Giddey. However, the Warriors stole Giddey right out of their hands and left them with a fair bit of doubt in their pick. As a result, they go with Moses Moody, who's shown potential as an unselfish off-ball scorer and capable defender as well. There are a lot of questions about his inside game and shot creation abilities against the better defenses which the NBA will offer, but his ceiling is a bit unknown, which makes his long-term progression a bit of an enigma. His frame is definitely NBA ready, and he's seen to fit the mold of someone like Mikal Bridges, and players like that are very valuable in today's NBA. He could be great for Memphis if he stretches out from the mid-range and becomes more confident in his 3-point shot. With the 11th pick in the NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Franz Wagner. The Hornets are continuously looking for a big center to help stretch the floor and give LaMelo more options while making plays. However, at this position, there aren't really an abundance of centers who fill that criteria. Therefore, the Hornets taking Franz Wagner could actually be one of the biggest steals in the draft. He's the brother of a current NBA player in Mo Wagner and doesn't really have any major flaws in his game. He's a good playmaker, defender and shooter, despite a lack of elite athleticism, and he'll fit right in alongside the young core of the Hornets. I expect the Hornets to maybe try and use other methods to trade into a stretch center like Myles Turner, who they've been linked to. With the 12th pick in the NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Corey Kissbert. Corey is probably the most elite shooter available in the draft this year. He fits the mold of someone like Joe Harris, who can provide serviceable defense and create shots for himself by spacing himself around the floor and getting open for those shots. He was shown rapidly developing from each season in college while playing for Gonzaga, but he is 22 and shares some similar concerns to Davion Mitchell. I guess the question remains whether these teams are ready to use a lottery pick on someone who might already be right near the top of their ceiling. However, because of Corey's elite shooting ability, I can definitely see him slotting into this developing Spurs team, who are going to be desperate for more wings due to the imminent loss of DeMar DeRozan. With the 13th pick in the NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select Usman Garuba. Garuba is a locked-in defender who is intelligent on switches and flies around the court to defend with the potential to switch onto all 5 positions. His player comparison looks to be something similar to OG Anunoby. I mean, he might be quite a bit behind offensively, but the Pacers do have players like TJ Warren who might be able to help him develop that offensive game. But I do see him as a really gritty defender who can pester those star wing players, and that could be really valuable for this Pacers team. With the 14th pick in the NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Davion Mitchell. Perimeter defense has been one of the main struggles the Warriors faced in the previous season, and they look to remedy that with their final pick in the lottery. Davion Mitchell is coming off of an NCAA championship with the Baylor Bears, and he is an excellent defender, fitting the moniker of a player like Drew Holiday, who will put his body on the line for defensive plays. Given the fact that Klay Thompson probably won't be playing until the All-Star break, a defensive anchor in Mitchell, who sports an improved jump shot in his junior year of college, seems like a good fit. There have been a few question marks whether that improved jump shot was just an outlier season. However, he also has the capacity to make plays alongside his draft buddy in Josh Giddey. The other question marks are obviously around his age and height, so maybe he is a stretch at pick 14, but I'm sure we'll find out as the season progresses. Anyways, that wraps up my picks for the 2021 NBA Draft Lottery. I definitely have my fingers crossed that we get some blockbuster trades that shake up the league, and I'm really excited to see a lot of these young prospects make names for themselves in the NBA.